Gradstein has moved from NPR, National Public Radio, to becoming a writer on AOL. And there's no place for comments on her stupid and lying articles. And so I am forced to comment to you via the internet on YouTube, and I'm asking my friends to publicize this. Linda Gradstein is either a self-hating Jew or a liar. Possibly both. Linda Gradstein, in her last article about the holy site of Jerusalem, says that the Temple Mount oversees Judaism's holiest site, the Western Wall. That's stupid, and that's a lie. The Western Wall has no holiness. The only reason why we revere the Western Wall is because that was the only place we were allowed to go that's next to the Temple Mount. Because for the last several hundred years, the Arabs have not allowed Jews to go to the Temple Mount. On top of that, a Jewish person is not allowed to go to the Temple Mount because we are in a state of ritual impurity. But the Western Wall is not the holiest site, and she knows that. And the reason why she doesn't say that, why she says what she says, is because she's a liar, and she hates Jewish beliefs, and will do anything she can to put Jewish beliefs into bad light. Now let me tell you something very, very clearly. There is no evidence that Muhammad ever visited the Temple Mount. It's a Baba Maisa. It's a thought that some Arab spiritual thinker in the 7th or 8th century, when it was impossible to go to Mecca because of political considerations, came up with the thought that the Sharam, whatever they call it, Al-Sharif, the Temple Mount, was where Muhammad alighted to heaven on his horse Barak. He had a horse, and it jumped from Mecca all the way to the Temple Mount, and from there he went to heaven. And that made it a holy site. There is no reference to Jerusalem in the Quran. The Quran does not recognize the holiness of Jerusalem. Jerusalem, however, is mentioned thousands of times in Jewish writings, and is the city of David, and is the place where the temple stood, and we have physical evidence for it. It isn't just a Baba Maisa. We have physical evidence underneath the rubble on the Temple Mount. We can actually tell you the exact position and location of the temple that stood first in the first temple and the temple that stood in the second temple. They've discovered the wall, one of the walls of King Solomon from the first temple, and they've discovered, of course, the ruins of the temple site in not just outside the wall, but underneath, and using infrared cameras, they can actually see the contours of the Temple Mount and tell you exactly where the place was. We have exact measurements of what the Temple Mount looked like and what was exactly there, and every single ruin actually measures up to those places. It's just an incredible thing. It is not ignorance, my friends. It is the hate of the secular Jewish and the secular university society that does not wish to allow the Jews to have their holy sites, for whatever reason they might have, whatever twisted reason they have. And so I challenge Linda Gradstein to disprove what I'm saying, that the Temple Mount is the holiest place for Jews, and in the Temple Mount, the place of the Holy of Holies, which today we can pinpoint, is the ultimate holy location for the Jewish people. And that is clear from all of the writings and all of the Mishnaic statements, the statements in the Mishnah and the Talmud, and all of the great commentators, including Maimonides, etc., down to our own generation, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, in discussing the reverence and the place of the Holy Temple. And so, Linda, I challenge you to defeat this rabbi, calling you a liar for what you state. You've stated it over and over again. There is no controversy that this is the Jewish temple. The fact that some Arabs consider it a holy place is only a matter of convenience to deny Jewish people access to the Temple Mount. Or, alternatively, historically what happened in the 7th or 8th century when they could not do the Hajj in Mecca, so they needed another holy site to go to. This is the history of that relationship of the Muslims with the Temple Mount. They have no religious affinity. They don't pray toward it at all. They pray toward Mecca. Jewish people, to this day, Ms. Gradstein, pray toward Jerusalem, and in Jerusalem toward the Temple Mount, and on the Temple Mount toward the Holy of Holies, which is behind the Western Wall. The Western Wall has no holiness whatsoever. It has only the holiness that it is next to, it's proximus to, the place of the Holy Temple and the place of the Holy of Holies. And I challenge you to find me wrong.